I grew up in a very small town in Nebraska, and my family, I grew up with 4 sisters and 3 brothers. 3 younger brothers, 2 older sisters, 2 younger sisters. And so it was we were always just doing things, doing things. Somebody needed a little help, needed to mow the lawn, we'd go mow the neighbor's lawn, we'd almost mow the little town, we'd mow a lot of the lawns in that town and take care of them. Took on the paper route, got to know the people, got a lot of community around the community. So we got to know each other as a family all the time. However, I ended up in Chicago. It was God's plan totally. Because it was Chicago that brought me to my wife, who lives from Chicago. I meet with these guys, we're all business guys together, and 4 or 5 of us, and we'd always meet, and we'd always have these little meetings. And we continue to have these meetings, but we'd have these small community meetings amongst ourselves. And there was this lady over at the Women's Center that would always say to him, why don't you ask some guys that you know to come and help us out? We need some help over here at this Women's Center. And then all of a sudden one day I says, to our group, I says, you know what? I met this lady, and she's over at the Women's Center, and she's asking if we would do a fundraiser or help them with this ultrasound equipment. And the one gentleman in our group, his name is Michael, he said, "What did you tell her?" I said, "Well, I would mention it to you guys when I saw you and see what happened." And so he says, "Why didn't you tell her yes?" I said, "Yes, what are we going to do?" He says, "Well, we'll have a fundraiser." I said, "We're going to have a fundraiser?" "Yeah, right, we're going to have a fundraiser." Well, little did I know, these group of 5 guys, we decided we will have a fundraiser. And we're going to make it because Michael is connected to the Irish community and also connected to the Irish American Heritage Center, which is over in Chicago. And he would say that, you know what? We're going to figure this out so we have low cost to put this on, so we can, pretty much the funds that come in will be able to turn it over. And sure enough, we did our event, and we had it at the Irish Center. Little did we know that by just a few of us organizing and talking to our friends, connecting to the next person, welcoming and welcoming. Before, when we had the event, we had 72 volunteers that were on our committee running the event that we were going to have at the Irish Center. We had 4 stages of entertainment. We had all these kids. We went to the dance studios. Irish had a lot of dance, but we went to the Spanish community. We went to the Filipino community. So we had a lot of ethnical things that we did at the event. In the community of the Irish community, somebody has got a down and out in their community. They gathered themselves together and circle around each other. This is exactly what he showed us how to do, and how we, and on a shoestring budget. It was incredible. We met some incredible dancers. I can't tell you how many things we met. And can you imagine arriving that day and having these people that were in this kitchen that were just, all these people were there ready and cutting up all these fruits and vegetables that we'd gotten given to us from like the fruit markets. They were pushing them in on these carts that the guy had gone out and asked for donation. They asked for donations, and people were very generous in giving all of these donations to make this event happen. So. And the one guy that I talked to you about earlier, his name is Jack, he even put together a little booklet because he's in that business. And he put together a little book so we could have a handout book for everyone. And it was just a nice event.
How much did you raise?
We actually raised a little over $30,000 that day. And that event. Yes, other question. Mary.
Why didn't you tell me about it? I would have gone.
I don't know.
Why don't you have another one? We'll all come.
We do have other things, so everybody's always invited. What do you want to come to? This is now going on 8 years later. We have adoration 24/7, 365 days a year as a result of that effort. The thing that did work is personal invitation. And in connecting, I want to talk about 3 things. And the best way I can describe things that I like to remember is to describe them. A lot of people like those 4-lettered words, I like those 3-letter acronyms to help me remember things, right? This acronym is IWE. We. But the important part of that is that we are always working in doing our connecting. Wherever we are in connecting, we are connecting by inviting others. Inviting others into something we know that is good. A second thing I think is very important is when we've invited that person in, when we've invited that next person in, I think it's very important to welcome that person about being with us, about being about what we're wanting to talk about, or being whatever we know of good, to help welcome that person into what that is good. And the other thing which is very important in that whole process is encouragement. And we all need encouragement. We need encouragement to help us just continue to go forward to each day and to take on those parts of each day. Thank you for hearing this story of what I find an incredible God who gets done what he needs to have done, however that is. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you.